Hello friends, welcome back to Feni for the Soul. This is again the Goa Feni story in three parts. Many of you must have watched the part one already, where I had introduced you to my cashew farmer friend Bebe Barreto. And thank you, that video story has been received very well. Thank you everyone for watching it. In this part two, which you're going to see soon, I bring you face to face with Clement Desylva, who coincidentally happens to be a classmate of mine from St Vincent's High School, Pune. Clement is a trained architect, and he's an architect turned master blender. He now calls himself a Feni car, and he's introduced this wonderful infused Feni brand called Aani Ek, to all of us in Goa. It's got many variants. Honey, cinnamon, chili, lemon, kokum is coming up, and a lot of excitement. So you'll see Clement voice his views and opinions on cashew Feni. And the last part, the third part, next week will be Hansel Vaz, who is, I call him a Feni evangelist. Hansel is the founder of the Cazulo brand and a very enthusiastic entrepreneur. So that will be the last part. So anyway, sit back and enjoy the second part of the Feni series.
So, what's it? Good afternoon, Clement Bob.
Good afternoon, Rahul Bob.
Welcome to Feni for the Soul. Without much ado, I'm just going to kick off this interview. So, you are a successful architect from Bandra, Mumbai. And how did you make the transition to becoming a Feni car, as you call yourself, and get into the world of Feni?
So I've always been in the world of Feni, at the consumer end of things, from my first sip of Feni. Feni is one of those drinks where, it just draws you in. And that's what happened to me. And then post March 2020, lockdown and Goa, experimenting with various things. I'd been experimenting with infusions from 2010 onwards, when I went to Italy and tasted limoncello. And I came back to Goa and I started making something called Fenicello, which I would give to family and friends. It was a non-commercial operation, but various well-meaning family and friends said, why don't you start a commercial operation? How much can you keep giving us? We want to buy some to give to other people. And the lockdown gave me the perfect opportunity to do just that. And that gave birth to Aani Ek with two partners, one of whom came up with the name. I got them on board to handle all the marketing and the other stuff while I handled production. And then a fourth partner joined us for the
distribution.
For the distribution, Pritesh Desai, who runs Royal Spirits and who's a major stakeholder in Aani Ek.
Fantastic. So why fusion Feni? Because see, Aani Ek is a infused Feni, as you call it. So why did you choose to come out with the fusion Feni?
So, well, not really fusion Feni, but infused Feni. Infused Feni is a long age-old Goan tradition. It's not just Goan, but anywhere where they make any kind of spirit, any kind of white spirit, you will have a parallel industry, home industry of infusions happening. Whether it's in Eastern Europe, whether it's in Turkey, wherever you go, you will have this thing. Somebody will take the base alcohol and then drop whatever catches his fancy, be it orange peels, lemon peels, honey, cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg, whatever it is. And in everybody's cupboard at home in Goa, there was a bottle that your avo kept of Feni, and into which he dropped all the lovely spices, sometimes a little pepper, your chini, or anything and everything. And that is exactly what we do, exactly the same process. Drop the infusion material in, let it soak in, let the best of both the Feni and the infusion material come to the forefront, filter it, bottle it, and take it to market. We are pioneers in this. For the first time, infused Feni is available to any and everybody. Go into a liquor shop and you can get infused Feni. Earlier, you had to have an avo who was in Goa who had a bottle in her kitchen. You had to know somebody who had an avo who had a bottle in her kitchen. Now you go out and get your Aani Ek.
Fantastic. Clement, tell us what makes Aani Ek special.
So the purity of Feni that we use. Unfortunately, Feni has, like everything else, you have good, bad, and ugly. In commercial interests tend to override integrity sometimes. In the Feni market, there was a lot of spurious Feni going out, just ENA with cashew essence added to it that people are selling as Feni. People drank that and then said Feni is bad. The reality is that you are drinking bad Feni. But if you don't know that there are fenis and there are fenis, you assume that what you're getting is the only thing that there is. That was very detrimental to the market. Now luckily we had gentlemen like Valentin Vaz, Gurudat Bakhtar of Kaskar, Hansel Vaz of
Cazulo.
Solomon Denise of Tinto, all these guys, rock stars, they've really taken Feni to the forefront, consistently put out great Feni, well packaged, absolutely yeoman service to the industry. We stand on their shoulders today. Where we are is, we've got we literally stand on the shoulders of these giants.
Yeah. So thanks to these Goans who kind of set up the base for Feni, people like you and your friends could, kind of take off much easily and faster. Yeah.
The awareness of Feni was already there.
Yeah.
The awareness of good Feni was there.
Yeah.
The education process had started.
Yeah.
That there are Fenis and there are Fenis. And brands like Tinto, beautifully packaged. Solomon gets his bottles all the way from China.
Yeah.
The old ceramic jars that Feni was originally stored in, that the Portuguese brought, and Feni used to be stored in that.
Wow.
His ceramic jars till today come from China. He's got 180, small 60 ml jars to a 5 liter bottle, this big, made out of ceramic in China.
Wow.
Wonderful work.
So much effort in bottling itself.
Hendricks
Yeah.
of Ria Distilleries. Regan has won prizes for Feni, silver medals, gold medals for his product. Unsung hero, really doing fantastic work in taking Feni to the world, but he just believes in his Feni. He's really not too concerned about whether it's commercially viable or not. He's just the passion for Feni. And when I say Feni, I mean Kaju Feni, not Marathi Soro, which is some people call coconut Feni. When Feni is Kaju Feni.
Cashew Feni, yeah. Tell us a little about the special process of Aani Ek. I mean, just for we to understand how Aani Ek comes to the market.
So we have 5 distillers across starting from Poigini, going up to Devsu near Terrakol. We procure the Feni from them. Each of them, each Feni profile is best suited to. These are the 3 infusions which we have in the market: lemon, honey, cinnamon, and chili.
Yeah.
We only use the zest of lemons in this. In each bottle, there's the zest of 25 to 30 lemons. The spices we use for honey, cinnamon, the tikki. The cinnamon is from the spice plantations of eastern Goa.
Yeah.
And the chili is our good old Pegne chilies. Nice,
wonderful,
sharp, pungent chili. And it gives when you work with good Feni, you can't help but end up with a good end product. Use the correct ingredients, keep it clean, keep it simple, keep it pure.
So five different Fenis come to you,
right?
And then you infuse it with these ingredients you mentioned.
That's it.
In your distillery.
In our factory.
In your factory.
Because we don't distill.
Correct. In your factory, and then the final product is.
And then we cave to demand, because everybody, not everybody, but there are a lot of purists who just want their Feni plain, clear, white, 42.5% ABV Feni.
Yeah.
And they tasted our infusions and said, this is great Feni, but we want plain Feni without the infusion. So we also launched the OG Feni.
Clement, tell us, we were talking about process some time back, and I want you to pick that chili. Yeah, that's the one, chili Aani Ek. And tell us, now you get those different streams of Feni from farmers in Goa, and then you have the chili, Pegne chili as you said, and now explain what happens, what is the magic that happens in your factory?
Okay, so yes, it is magic, but it's magic which has existed and been done for more than 100 years. The Feni which we use for our chili Feni comes from Valpoi. It's distilled by a gentleman called Rajesh Gawas, and they're 3rd generation distillers, traditional distillers, firewood butties. So we take the Feni which he brings us, put it into our infusion tanks, and then we drop the chilies into that. We just take the stalk of the chili, wash it down with water, make sure the chili doesn't break so that the seeds are not released, because if the seeds are released into the Feni, it becomes very, very pungent. And while you should be able to taste the chili. It shouldn't be so fiery that it burns you up, that it's unpalatable. So that's why it's important that the chili doesn't break and release the seeds into the Feni. Then once we have it takes about a month before the chili reaches this color. We balance it off with a dash of jaggery just to round off that flavor profile of the Feni and the chili, and then we filter it. Okay, so before we get to the point where we start bottling it, filtering it and bottling it, there are three things that you work with. One is of course the Feni itself, the ABV of the Feni. It's very important that we start at 42.5 alcohol Feni. About 21 grau. Our local unit of measurement for ABV is grau. The second thing is the color, and the third of course is the taste. You have to balance these three elements consistently across the board for thousands of bottles of Feni to see that there is a quality control method, so that there is some kind of benchmark which works for all our products. So balancing that taste, the ABV and the color is really the challenge that I face as the infuser and master blender for Aani Ek.
There's one thing, you just spoke about ratio proportion, like you said so much chili for so much Feni. What was that? Yeah.
So what happens is, for the first, when we put the chili into the Feni, the first lot of Feni that we pull out will be, the Feni, the chili is very strong. It's released 50% of its profile into the Feni. There's still 50% balance. So you can't put the same amount of Feni into it as you did in the first one. So you put in the same amount of Feni, but then you add a small percentage of more chili which is new, so that you get the same potency with the same color. So that is something which, where your nose comes into play.
Wow.
Where you're balancing this, because a very easy thing would be to have a fixed proportion of chili, take that chili and throw it out, but that's wasteful. We pride ourselves on being zero waste.
Zero waste.
All the chili, after we are done with chili infused Feni, guess what? We have a byproduct. What is that? Feni infused chilies, which make a wonderful mix. You want to throw it into your salad, you want to throw it into your roast beef, you want to throw it into your curry. It's just a lovely thing. Even throw it into a salad.
Wow.
Just a lovely addition to anything.
How nice.
And traditionally in Goan cooking, a small teaspoon of Feni has always been added into whatever you're making, be it chakuti, be it kafrial, whatever you're making, a dash of Feni has always gone into it. Where you get the Feni and the chili.
Fantastic.
Lemon. In this bottle of lemon, you have the zest of 25 to 30 lemons. Only the zest. That's 2 to 3 microns of the skin. When you hold it up to the light, it has to be translucent. No white on it at all. If there is any portion of pith from the lemon in that, it's going to cause it to turn bitter, which we don't want. So, when we are doing our lemon batches, the person who's doing the zesting of the lemon sits down with a pile of 300 lemons, because that's his quota for the day, 300 lemons per day per person, and he's got to zest that lemon. But what do you do once he's finished zesting it and you put it in for the lemon Feni? You're left with 300 lemons per person, so that we have 2 people doing this, that's 600 lemons a day left over, which we use to make an organic flow cleaner, which is wonderful. It keeps mosquitoes away, ants away, everything else. We take that, we add a little jaggery, we add a little yeast, and we get this wonderful organic flow cleaner that we use across the board.
Wow. That you use in your factory, but do you give it to restaurants and all that?
Our production is just about enough for us to handle at our factory, and one of our partners, he owns multiple establishments, car showrooms, etc., etc. So within that, it's all covered.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Tell me, finally, what is preventing Goan Feni from getting marketed pan-India? Like finding it in a Delhi wine shop or a Kolkata wine shop.
So to take Feni out of Goa, you have to change the category from country spirit, which was what Feni is, a local country drink, to IMFL.
Yeah.
To our mind, it's criminal to call Feni IMFL, which is Indian made foreign liquor.
Yeah.
Okay. While there is a benefit to the exchequer, because the taxes on IMFL is 22%, on a country liquor it's 5%.
Yeah.
But just changing that nomenclature, I feel, takes away from the spirit of Feni, which is a local Goan product.
And also heritage drink of Goa.
Heritage spirit of Goa. And people have fought long and hard to get a GI tag for this.
Yeah.
The Vaz brothers, Cedric and Mac Vaz, Hansel Vaz, no relation between those Vaz.
Yeah.
But they all
fought to get GI
tag going as to this is Feni. of course we want to take it to the rest of India, not just India but the rest of the world. You know, the way we see tequila, the penetration of tequila across borders is our dream, that Feni should go even more than that.
Yeah.
If we can drink Scotch whiskey over here, and we can drink sake, and we can drink soju and tequila and bourbon and anything else, I see no reason why they shouldn't be drinking our Feni, which is a far better product.
Absolutely. Wonderful. So, thank you, Clement. All the
Thank you,
best.
Rahul.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Viva Feni, Viva Goa.
Saud.
Salud.